Hello Reds, hello everybody, welcome back to Forever United TV, welcome back to another live show here on the channel. We're talking the need for midfielders, we're talking the January transfer window. The news yesterday after the game finished against Aston Villa about Bruno Fernandes, our captain, another player out for the same amount of time as what we've got with our AFCON contingent of players as well. What do we do from here? Does this force Manchester United into the transfer market? Is there now a demand to go out and buy? We're going to bring you up to date with all the transfer news. On top of that, Romano dropping big news last night on the race for Antoine Semenyo between Manchester United and Manchester City. Also a big update on Joshua Zirkzee. Can we really afford to be selling any players right now? Has this now ended any talk of Kobbie Mainoo leaving Manchester United in January? Bruno being out, I think, is massive. It changes everything in terms of Manchester United's plans. And you could even hear it in Ruben Amorim's voice yesterday after the game. It was like, where do I go from here? I want to get your opinions on the game yesterday. There were a lot of positives. Alongside a very negative result for Manchester United with clear issues that nobody is ignoring, and we will bring them up in the live show. We did a watch along yesterday. I did my reaction. I took the night off just to watch everything back, watch a bit of the game back, get some punditry opinion on what went down. A lot of people are on the same sort of road with Manchester United after yesterday's performance. Even the more critical, negative fans were looking at that and saying, yeah, that wasn't bad. It wasn't. But the bigger issues are there. And going forward, Manchester United are looking at the points that we could accumulate, what we can do with the team that we've got. This is the big problem now. Let's get into the Bruno Fernandes conversation. I've put a poll up right in the chat straight away. Anyone who's live with us right now, just answer this question, because yesterday we seen Licha Martinez step forward into midfield. A lot of people have been asking this question. I've shut it down. I don't think it's the future, and I don't think it's the way we should go forward. But needs must. Licha for midfield. Would you start him against Liverpool? Yes or no? Against Newcastle, sorry. Yes or no for that game on Friday night? Let me know in the comment section as well what your other options are there. Just to go through everything that's happened and the news that came out after the game yesterday, full confirmation that Bruno Fernandes has a soft tissue injury in his hamstring and will be out for approximately a month. Now, again, this is the first time I've ever known Bruno Fernandes to have any muscular injury at all. He's 31, going on 32. I can just tell you for nothing right now, the recovery time for a player in his 30s compared to a younger player, early 20s, even mid-20s, is completely different. We've seen how long Cunha was out for with a very similar sort of injury. Even Harry Maguire, still can walk on it, don't need crutches. It's not a mega tear or anything like that, or any any high severity of a hamstring injury. But Bruno Fernandes is going to miss the big part of Manchester United's season here. Looking at the fixtures that we've got, Bruno is going to miss. He's going to miss Newcastle. He's going to miss Wolves, Burnley, Leeds, the FA Cup game against Brighton, which could be crucial for Manchester United's season. And then we're hoping that he might be back in contention for Arsenal and City. This is a disaster for Manchester United. Whether you like Bruno Fernandes or not, we're looking at the state of the squad right now and what options we've got. That's the big issue here. Not what Bruno is and what Bruno isn't. He's out. He's another injury. And Manchester United may have to act on this in the January transfer window. It just depends how you look at it. And if you listen to what Ruben Amorim said after the game yesterday, if we have to suffer, we have to suffer. The club comes first. As in, do we go out and buy anybody now in January because of the injuries and the AFCON situation? We knew this was coming. It's like Manchester United are saying here, and through Ruben Amorim's voice, and what Manchester United's hierarchy is telling us here is that there is not going to be any panic buying still. And it doesn't matter how many injuries there are, we'll get through it. He's already said there's zero excuses, so he's left himself wide open again for how he sets up against Newcastle on Friday. That's fair enough. And I think a lot of Man United fans listening to Ruben Amorim would say, well, yeah, you were part of this recruitment and bringing in the right players and letting certain players go in the summer. So really, there isn't any excuse for Ruben Amorim. He has to find a way around this. And do you know what? There is a way around it. We can play away against Newcastle, and we have got a team and a squad there that can actually do a job against Newcastle at Old Trafford. How are we going into that game? You can take your injuries aside. I'm not going to give this team any excuses to not go out and beat Newcastle at Old Trafford on Friday. Zero. Simple as that. It's not coming. I think the problem we've got is the long-term effects of Bruno missing, and half a game of football with Leacher in midfield. It's fantastic. Great. Adrenaline, needs must, the atmosphere and everything in that moment, it looks good. But don't get carried away with Leacher being in midfield and being a permanent fixture for Manchester United. He's there and can be used as an emergency, I would say, and we know that he can do a job. The problem we've got is obviously the other options Manchester United have are absolutely shocking, really, because Manuel Ugarte is not the answer for Manchester United in that midfield, and it was proved yesterday. The fact that our centre-back was better in that role than our perfect or so-called perfect player for it, that profile of player in Manuel Ugarte as a holding midfielder, that's his natural position. The fact that our centre-back, who has been out injured all season, was better than Ugarte in that game, tells you everything about where this squad is at the moment at Manchester United. That there is a big, big issue for us, and this needs to be sorted and sorted quickly. But we can't, because the window still isn't open. We've got 2 more games before that window opens. This is massively important for Manchester United. Now, it's like you put a Jack Fletcher in there or you bring in a Leacher. Look, Casemiro is back, obviously, for the Newcastle game. Suspension over. I just don't see Casemiro and Ugarte being the answer together. Now, look, Ugarte might get better with games. He might get better with a few more starts under his belt. And with Mainoo also being out now for a couple of weeks, apparently leading right up to that January transfer window. Coincidence? I don't know. I said yesterday, I don't even want to look into that. The bigger concern is what we've actually got squad-wise to actually use in these games now. I don't know if Ugarte is the answer. And some people, answer the question yourselves. Get into the live chat. A lot of you already have done in that poll. Would you start Leacher in midfield versus Newcastle? 87% of you have said yes. And obviously, I don't want to kick a man while he's down in the likes of Manuel Ugarte, but you all know that that's going to be the player that he's replacing. And I think subconsciously you're thinking there, I'd rather have Leacher in that midfield than Ugarte. Put Leacher next to Casemiro and let's go forward with that. The passing, the aggressiveness, I think the composure from Leacher compared to Ugarte shown a lot in that second half. And Manchester United didn't really have an issue without Bruno Fernandes. Look, I'm saying this now, don't get carried away with Leacher in midfield. It isn't the future of Manchester United. It's not sustainable. It's an option and something we can use when we need to. United need midfielders. As clear as day, and more so now, even more so now, I think this has hit home with Manchester United. All anybody has said all the way through this season so far is, what if we get injuries? What if we get injuries? AFCON players are out. But AFCON players weren't affecting Man United's central midfield. Now we've got a bigger issue with both Kobe, with his off-the-field situation and his injury now, all piled into one. And on top of that, you've got Bruno out now, who you would never expect to be out. So everything needs to change. Everything needs to change in that midfield. When Kobe does come back, does he start straight away for Manchester United in place of Bruno Fernandes? Does he have to come straight back in? Are you looking now at another option there? This will say one thing about Kobe's situation and Ruben Amorim. If he prefers a Casemiro-Leacher kind of partnership in there, with Mason Mount dropping in like he did yesterday, playing that 4 at the back with a rotating 3 to /4 with the extra wing-back coming in and making it a 4 in midfield, will he prefer Mason Mount over Kobe Mainoo and stick Leacher and Casemiro in there? Because you may laugh at that, but Casemiro has scored more goals than Zirkzee this season, Cunha, Sesko, Mount, Ahmad. He scored more than every single one of our forwards, barring Mbeumo. Casemiro is a goal threat. And Casemiro cannot play an 8. I know this. And I'm not getting carried away with that side of it either. But is that an option for us? Mount, Leacher, Casemiro. You could work with that. Obviously, we're going to have to get more out of our forward players, which is a concern. And like a few people said yesterday, including James, Mount is very, very effective in the press and the aggressiveness that he brings further up the pitch for us. And that's what you're going to be missing if Mount starts dropping back in. Of course, you can obviously rotate things and it's not going to be a straight 3 up, 3 in the middle and then 4 at the back. It's always going to move and Mason Mount will move around. But, I mean, the Bruno Fernandes injury has really thrown a spanner into the works here for Ruben Amarim now, because that plan's out of the window. Now maybe Man United fans might get what they wanted to see. The ones that thought Bruno Fernandes should have been sold in the summer. We have to drop Bruno Fernandes because he's not been playing well. I think Bruno's been playing all right recently, but that's been taken out of our hands now, and now we have to deal with no Bruno Fernandes. So we could stumble upon a positive out of a negative here. We could find a way forward without Bruno Fernandes because we have to. So where it does seem bad, where it does seem like we're completely out of options, maybe something comes of this and Manchester United actually find a way of dealing with it within the squad that gets us through. And we now know that there's an option then without Bruno. And we might not have to play Bruno every single minute of every single game when he comes back. Maybe we should look at this. And you know what? Ruben Amarim, if he does find a solution to this and finds the way forward without Bruno, then a lot of fans are probably going to go back against him if he tries to change it again in the future and keep Bruno in the side. Maybe this midfield situation pushes Bruno Fernandes back into a 10 and into a rotation. That's what a lot of fans I think will say on this one. So where it does look negative and players being out, do we go into the transfer market? I don't think there is anyone in the market in January that you can replace Bruno with, and I don't think we should be shouting out that we have to go out and buy another midfielder now because Bruno's missing. I don't think that's the scenario. I don't think that's going to be the case for United. You could possibly or potentially look at this now, hopefully with the likes of, let's say, Harry Maguire coming back, which we're supposedly getting close to now. He comes back into that back three, into that back four, maybe alongside of Heaven. Two good headers of the ball. Euro, I think, needs another step out again to the bench. Obviously suffering with a bit of lack of confidence and being completely done by Morgan Rogers yesterday. And then Leach steps into midfield as another option for us. I'm not saying a definite every single week, but do you class him as an option in midfield now rather than defence if we've only got two defenders and two centre-back places available? Because De Ligt comes in and Maguire comes back in. You've got them battling it out with, obviously, Euro and Heaven. Should we be trying to force Leach back into that centre-back position? I think De Ligt and Maguire are our best defenders right now. And when they're both fit, do they both play? And then you've got Leach in front of them. Look, I'm trying to build a case here for how Manchester United manage this situation. And I do think there's a way around it. I'm not saying it's the future, and I'm not saying that this is going to be the way that United have to play week in, week out. And we've found the answer to our midfield issues. Far, far from it. And Leach, I don't want in midfield. I don't. But right now, is he better than Agate? Is he a better option than a Kobbie Mainoo as a 6? Yeah, he is. And that's clear for everybody to see. I think with him, I think you will see a very, very strict 6 as well, maybe, because of his defensive mentality. He will just sit there and protect. And he's composed on the ball. And he can pass. Leach can pass a ball. Agate cannot pass a ball. He dwindles, he dawdles, and he looks like he's playing with a hot potato every time the ball's at his feet. Leach, we know, is composed, and he doesn't mind stepping forward. He does it when he's playing at centre-back, and I think this is why he was always going to be earmarked to come back into Man United's back three. But now the system has changed because of the AFCON absentees. Maybe Leach comes back in front of the two central defenders. I haven't got a problem with Luke Shaw at the moment. I think Luke Shaw is doing completely fine and he's playing well. Roy Keane pulling Dalot at the back yesterday is right, completely right. That's a daisical. Dalot just cannot cling on to doing his job going forward and doing a better job there and forget about his defensive duties. Because that was poor from Dalot. It was poor from Heaven and it was poor from Euro for the second goal. All three of them at fault in that. And you could probably say that Euro deserves a little less criticism because the other two defenders failed before him twice. But Euro made the same mistake twice in allowing Rodgers to be in that position. He's not strong enough and he was bullied by a better player. It's a difficult one with the defence at the moment. It looks shaky as hell. And until we get like Maguire and De Ligt back in maybe, and we get a settled midfield in front of them, we're just going to continue to leak goals and goals and goals. Our goals conceded column is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous right now. And that is a big, big problem because it's ruining everything else that we're trying to do further up the pitch, which is fine. Except again there I've opened up another can of worms because it's not fine. We're not being clinical enough and we're not taking the clear-cut chances anymore. Bruno being missing, I think, doesn't push United into the transfer market. I don't think it makes a difference. United needed to go into the transfer market anyway. That's the point I'm trying to make on that one, first of all. And Leacher can do a job for us. Just on that, let's get into the chat and let's get your thoughts on this. And let's get in. A few people have super chatted. First of all, thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to run this for as long as I can this morning. So get your opinions in, get your conversations rolling in the live chat if you're live with us. Of course, if you are playing catch up later on, then please do get into the comment section. Let me know, first of all, Leacher, is he now a midfielder for the rest of the season with the abundance of centre-backs we've got and the lack of midfielders we've got? That's the question I'm asking straight away. And says, with the first super chat of the morning, he always needs midfielders, get us Gomez, etc. Play one of the best teams in the league right now and did all right. Get us bloody midfielders now. A lot of people shouted out yesterday, United did not play bad yesterday. We didn't. It was a very, very good all-round performance, and we were the better side, apart from the goals and the finishing, and that's what matters, of course. But a lot of people shouting out, Ruben Amorim needs help here. Ineos need to step forward and spend some money in January to salvage what could be, potentially, a promising season for United that gets us still, and this is going to sound crazy, Champions League football. We've gone up against every team in the top half of that table there, and we've competed against all of them, the majority. Anyway, we should have beaten Arsenal. We should have won the game against Villa yesterday. We've beaten Chelsea. We've beaten Liverpool. The only team that really took us to task was City. We were in that game until we capitulated after the first goal, though. But I think our mentality has changed from there. And I think we're a better team now. The days of the Brentford and City defeats are long gone for United. Obviously, we've still got the concerns of the West Ham and the Everton games. But we are very, very competitive. And we're not buckling in these away games now where teams score a goal and United just capitulate. That could have been the case yesterday, but we fought our way back into the game as well. So I've still got hope, but definitely January is massive. I'm going to move on to the transfers in just a moment, but quickly let's get through these other chats. Manny says, that was the best loss we could have had. We outplayed them, except on the scoreboard. What I saw was critical to rebuilding culture, under the pump, but never gave up. That game was a turning point. Could say that. There was a lot of positives to take from it, and hopefully Manchester United players took a lot from it. I remember saying within the game, Manny, yesterday, if United do get through this, can you imagine how confident that's going to make the likes of Heaven and Yoro feel, getting through that game as that centre-back partnership, two teenagers, against a high-flying, top side in Aston Villa. And people who were saying yesterday, look how the mighty have fallen. Where are our standards gone? Aston Villa are better than Man United. They're better this season than Man United. They were better last season than Man United. They were better the season before, near enough, than Man United. So just accept that they're in a better place. And forget about the historical side of Manchester United right now. Villa were better, and we beat them yesterday on the pitch, apart from the scoreline. Of course, it sounds stupid me keep going back to that, but we're competing and we are playing better against these bigger teams now, and that's a big plus point. It's whether or not these players can take it forward and use it, because I still think there's a big chunk of them that are going to be slung out of the club in the summer. So this is their opportunity. Can they use it as a momentum booster, like Manny says? And also says in the super chats, everyone thought Villa would pump us hard, myself included. You're dead right, mate. We definitely held our own in that game. More than held our own. I would consider bringing in Baleba early at this point. The squad needs help. Sell a couple of useless players to offset the price a bit, says Ross with a super chat. Thank you, matey. Manny comes back again and says, Adam, people forget Leacher played as a CDM in Holland and the lad has won a World Cup. He can cover when needed. Class is permanent. Leacher at CDM, for a lot of people, just for instance, the people that don't rate him as a centre-back because of his size, does that automatically push him in to CDM as a more rounded, perfect fit in that position? Could say it does. We have 10 points from 24, have now lost 3 star players. We are on a trajectory for minus 59 points. That won't get us Europa and never mind Champions League. Yep, it's dead right. It's dead right. And you can always look at the obvious, which is the league table, stats, and points, Ruben's record. Can't ignore that. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. But when you're talking about the Villa game on its own, in isolation, it was a good performance. The rest of it before it, and I was listening to people yesterday, an accumulation of games. Ruben Amorim has been found out. People using the poor games from before to have a go at this game. And people say, well, if Matthias Cunha scores that header, then Manchester United get a draw. Lame excuses for certain players as to why Manchester United lost. No one's doing that. All people were doing yesterday was watching a game of football, watching Manchester United on their arse, with half a squad bleeding missing, competing with one of the best teams in the league. That's it. Forget about the rest of the crap that's gone forward this season. Yesterday, Manchester United were talking, and Man United fans were talking about that game against Villa. Not about near misses and standards dropping and Ruben being found out and Ruben being proved wrong because Leach can play in midfield. None of that. Leach just stepped forward and did a job for Man United yesterday, like many other players have done this season, out of position, trying to find a way forward. It was all on that game. Nothing to do with what's happened before. Now we can talk about what's happened before. Now we're not looking for clicks and interactions because United lost a game yesterday. Now we're looking at the reality of the situation after the game's gone and what we've got going forward. What's happened before isn't good enough. But yesterday was good enough in that game. In isolation, Villa was probably our best away performance of the season. I said yesterday it was better than Liverpool. So yeah, we can run the obvious negative, and that's where we are now. We're worried because that game isn't sustainable. That's not going to be the way that it moves forward, is it? We cannot do that week in, week out with that squad. That was a one-off. The team came together against a big team that were expected to beat us. We were the underdogs and we played the underdog card yesterday, and we came through it okay. Job done. Next day, now we look at the bigger picture. And Niall's right in what he said. Ruben's record, not good enough. The points that we're bringing up right now, not good enough. We should be a lot further up up the table than what we are now. Bang on, yes. This is when we discuss it. And this is when you bring the conversation of Leacher, Bruno, transfer market into the debate, because that's where United now move forward. And it's important to remember that Manchester United have always they've always stood by the fact that they're not going to panic buy now. But we are in a bit of a desperate situation. So does it change what United need to do in January? This is the problem what we've got right now. This is where United now, I feel, are stuck a little bit. And Ruben, yes, there are other options there, but he's going to get more and more pressure now because he's defending Ineos. He's saying that this is the club we're going to suffer. No, the fans shouldn't have to suffer, Ruben. And this is where you can't really defend him. We will suffer. No, we're suffering. The fan base is suffering, mate. We're paying a fortune to watch this team fail. This is where the fans are suffering. We cannot. We're Man United. And if we are going to be Man United, then this is where a lot of fans will come back and say, well, you need to act like Man United in January. I understand the limits to what we can do. I get that, and I've always made that argument. But I do get where a lot of fans are coming from and saying, we cannot just come out and say that we're going to suffer now. We knew this was coming. If you knew this was coming and you knew that we were going to be suffering, then a big organisation would act on it and try and fix it and try and get something done. And that's probably where a lot of people are going to be at with this January transfer window now. And I totally get it. I totally get it. But I'm not having that being brought into the game yesterday. Because there was nothing that January or Ruben Amarim, I thought, in terms of what he could have done in the January window coming up or in the summer, that could have changed in that game yesterday. I thought we played well. The players played well yesterday. And we need to remember that, I think, above all else. Let's get some more comments in quickly before we move on. Cal says, I think we do need to buy in Jan. AFCON, Bruno injured, Kobe clearly finished. Agate is crap. Go get Valeba now if we're going to buy him anyway in the summer. That's a point. Amarim, I mean, Man United needs a prolific striker to score us goals, as this was clearly absent yesterday. Manchester United can't rely on a group of goals. We must sign Semenyo for goals. I mean, moving forward onto Semenyo, Fabrizio Romano updated us late last night after the game, and this is crucial now as well. In Manchester United and Manchester City, after talking to Bournemouth and Semenyo on Monday and Tuesday, like we brought you in the news on Friday evening here on Forever United TV, have now this weekend again contacted Bournemouth and Semenyo on the conditions and what needs to be done. It does look like it is fully down to Man United and Manchester City. Both David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano were on video yesterday, quote unquote, City and United. Both of these teams are in. Semenyo is not going to go Spurs. He's not even giving them the time of day. Liverpool might come back into the situation because of the Isak injury. Now that could end up causing an issue because Semenyo was open to moving to Liverpool, according to reports before all of the Manchester City and United news came out on Semenyo. So Liverpool might feel like they need to go back in for another player. Maybe, I don't know. Obviously, they've got Ekitike there as well, and it just depends, doesn't it, now? Is Semenyo is Semenyo an out-and-out striker like Isak? If you're bringing Semenyo in, you're still going to be looking at him probably playing wide-ish because Ekitike is going to start, and that's still going to cause a problem. So, well, you could look at it and say Liverpool might come back in. I still feel like it's down to, I think it's down to United and City off what Ornstein and Romano said. That was really interesting. In what Romano said, that Manchester United and City, again, just this weekend, have contacted Semenyo's representatives and obviously gone into Bournemouth again. I think that's now key for Manchester United. And one thing I will say, and I've said this before, that the problem with Manchester United now with options in midfield and not having a deep enough squad, the goal problem that I brought up yesterday, yes, we're second highest goal scorers in the league, but we still aren't prolific enough. We're not scoring enough goals in important moments. Semenyo's an out-and-out goal scorer who's already got 8 Premier League goals this season. That alone there is needed at Manchester United. And for him to be in this squad in a rotation for several different positions, with what we're watching now with Ruben and how he's changing things up with his system, Semenyo is now an absolute must for Manchester United. Go and spend that 60 million and get that man into Manchester United right now. That is now more important than anything else going forward. They have to beat City to this signing. And I'm telling you what now, Pep Guardiola is obviously in on this deal for Manchester City for Semenyo, and Romano in his reports, he's saying that City are pushing just as hard as Manchester United. If Ineos lose Semenyo to City and we don't end up buying anybody in January, I probably won't want to be sat in this seat because the onslaught that would be coming from the Man United fan base after this would be unbearable. It would be. And there'd be a lot of people and a lot of this fan base that would just say that's justified, fully justified, because United have left themselves short in a very important season with no real fixture pile-up or any European football or congestion getting in the way. You knew you had AFCON. You knew you had a chance this season. If you don't back this manager in January, then it's been a waste of a season. Because I'm not sure United, with what we've got in the squad at the moment, and I've always said this, saying going right back, Ruben's going to need to get somebody else in January to help him out. And I think Semenyo being the only likely, obvious one there, you have to go and get that player. He could play in a midfield three as one of the midfielders, either side of the one holding midfielder. He can play in the front line. He can play as a striker. He can play in so many different positions. And the way that Ruben's got this team playing right now, and you can actually see what Ruben's doing with the team, you can. There is so much rotation in there. I do feel like Semenyo would fit right in. The problem you've also got with this is what Romano also said about Joshua Zirkzee. If United let Zirkzee go, it has to be to bring Semenyo in. because Zirkzee actually is going to be needed now by Manchester United. We cannot allow Zirkzee to go. With the injuries that are coming up now, Bruno was an option, Mainoo was an option that could have gone forward. They're both missing. Obviously, we're not going to get Timbumo back. And you can understand why Manchester United made that statement about not doing any business until the end of January to see when the AFCON players come back, to see where we're at right now. Honestly, Semenyo has to come in, and United have to be looking at potentially another midfielder if it's there and available. They have to do that in January now. Otherwise, we are going to be too far away. We're going to be cut adrift. And I understand the AFCON players are going to come back. What form are they going to come back in? And then you're looking at it and you're going, well, the AFCON players are coming back. United should be back up there. We don't need to go and panic buy or anything like that. And sorry, not panic buy, but go and buy anyone, because the players are back in January. It's only a few weeks. But let's not forget, I've also said, and I think this is the most important part of all, Manchester United are where they are now with Bruno, with Kobe as an option, with Agate fit, Casemiro playing, and all of our AFCON players there. We can't count one game yesterday because, well, we've just been praising the Villa performance. That was without all of them players, so we can't have it both ways. We are where we are with the squad that we've got, and we've always needed to bring players in. We cannot now allow the conversation to go down the road of, well, the AFCON players are coming back, so we should be all right. Let's just get through this spell. We need players with the AFCON players in our squad as well. There needs to be investment on top of that. Never mind without. And that's where I think a lot of Man United fans will fear the narrative will be pushed. I think that's what a lot of Man United fans are worried about right now, that this is going to be a big cover-up and we're just going to try and survive all the way through, push Leach into midfield. Leach is an option up until January, and you should be looking for another midfielder because you know what's happening with Kobe. You know Agate's not good enough. Casemiro is ageing, and one injury to a Bruno or a Casemiro and we're done for. And now we've got Bruno Fernandes out. That there is big, and that there I think changes the whole landscape of the January window coming out. So the whole January window coming up as well. The earliest that we can get Mbeumo and Amad back, by the way, is the first week of January. If they get knocked out of the group stages, Amad and Mbeumo will be back for the game against Burnley and Leeds at the turn of the year. So they're only going to miss Newcastle and Wolves. That's if they collapse and either the Ivory Coast or Cameroon don't actually make it through the group stages. That's where we're at with that. In terms of who is available, of course, you would have seen Ruben Amorim talking. Kobe Mainoo's calf strain is going to keep him out of the Newcastle game. That's a definite. Obviously, we know about Bruno as well now on that. So, Romano also reported on Kobe Mainoo not being a serious injury. And that's not going to keep him out too long, maybe a couple of weeks, but enough to keep him out of maybe the games for the rest of this calendar year. And Kobe might be back for a turn of the year and start against possibly Burnley and Leeds in them first games of 2026. So that's the sort of area we're looking. We could have Kobe back, Mbeumo and Amad back all for the start of 2026 if things go our way. And I don't want to say that against the lads not competing and doing well for their national teams. But again, I'm being a selfish Man United fan here and I just want them players back now. That's where I'm at. Let's get some comments in on these subjects. Bruno Fernandes, January transfer window, Leach in midfield. Talk to me, everybody. Were there any other concerns that you've seen yesterday with certain players? The defence is really concerning me. Got to say that. Semenyo adds quality for sure, but he's another square peg for a round hole. Just get mids. Disagree and completely sorry, mate. He's not a round peg for a square hole. He's a player that's going to replace Joshua Zirkzee. And we're talking squad depth, quality here. We just looked at what happened with Manuel Agate coming in because our first choice midfielders are out and we lost a game. When Manuel Agate starts, United lose games. As simple as that. Look at his record. And if the midfield is not there of the right quality, what's the point? What's the point in bringing in another Manuel Agate? Because people have even been coming on this live chat and telling me in live shows that Conor Gallagher and João Gomez are just as bad as Manuel Agate. we've got Leach to step forward and maybe see us through. And I think that's where Ruben's going to go now. I really do think that that is another option for Manchester United. 100% not the future and not the right thing to do for United, but needs must. And like 87% of you have said in the poll, in the chat, start Leacher in midfield against Newcastle on Friday night. That is the only option we've got. Yesterday, I just hoped we could hold a draw, but the Dalot Euro mistakes on the Villa second brought back the glaring issue of incompetency. A bad luck with Bruno too. Cal says, we might see what Leacher is like in central midfield versus a high-energy side like Newcastle. Villa sat back and made it easy for us in central midfield. I would still take Leacher there for his composure over Manuel Ugarte, though, Cal. And that's why I said needs must. I am clearly and 100% on board with Leacher is not the answer for Manchester United in midfield. But right now, he's better than Manuel Ugarte. And I would have a Casemiro and Leach in midfield over Ugarte being in this side all day, every single day. I don't care if you think I'm being harsh on Manuel Ugarte. We're all paying fortunes, and I think you need to remember that as a fan base, we are paying a lot of money to watch this team, and we are not seeing enough. We are definitely not seeing enough with a season like this. I will only get angry with this team. As positive as I am, I said that we should be challenging for Champions League. And if we start dropping away from this, you're going to see a different character in me completely come out, because there's no excuse. I've said this all along. With no European football, get your effing acts together and get up that table. We have shown already, the teams that we have played in the top half of the table, that we can compete. Get it going in every single game now. We need some fit midfielders brought in. Leach showed yesterday that short ball to feet works way better. I think we need to get one midfielder minimum composed and steady. A lot of people will be pushing the Angelo Stiller situation as well right now. Can we go and get him? Like Carl also said in the chat, and a few other people, if you're going to buy Baleba in the summer, should you go all out for him now? The problem with Baleba is right now, he's also at AFCON, so we can't get him in straight away, and it doesn't do anything for the obvious foreseeable. So Newcastle, Wolves, with the team that we've got, can we win both of them games? And the squad we've got, yes, we can. Yes, we can, and we should be looking to win them games. I'm glad Ruben said no excuse, because I'm not going to give these players and this team any excuse either. You have to win. You have to beat both of them teams. You're at Old Trafford, and if Manchester United come away with anything less than 6 points out of Newcastle and Wolves, then it's been a disastrous first half of the season for Manchester United. It really has, because that will put Manchester United in about 8th or 9th in the table, and that's just not good enough. The amount of games that we've got to play and preparation that we've got in between games, that really is, I think, showing Ruben Amarim for what he is as a coach. And that's where a lot of people will go in on Ruben Amarim as well. You've had the chance to work with his team and you've not got much out of it. In terms of Joshua Zirkzee, by the way, I know I just mentioned him a moment ago, Romano has come out again last night, and this is quite big. Like, more talks and personal talks with Zirkzee and Roma have taken place, and it is looking very, very positive for Joshua Zirkzee to leave Manchester United. Now, again, this all sounds like the right thing to do and where we're actually at the moment, but just reading this now, this is what Romano actually said. Roma are advancing in talks with Joshua Zirkzee on personal terms as a top target for January. Deal still depends on United's decision. United making the decision on Joshua Zirkzee, I think, is solely based on what happens with Antoine Semenyo. That's why Zirkzee is important at the moment. He is crucial for us right now because we don't have enough. We don't have enough in these games. And Roma coming out and saying, according to Romano also, that they will wait until AFCON is finished to get Joshua Zirkzee. They're all in on this. Obviously, Semenyo coming in will end Joshua Zirkzee's time at the football club completely, I think. And United will get a loan with an obligation or a permanent fee in January for him. We talked the other day about what Manchester United actually want. They want 40 million for Joshua Zirkzee. So I think that's going to be crucial, and both of them deals work alongside each other. Zirkzee leaves if Semenyo comes in. And maybe we're thinking here Joshua Zirkzee's negotiating personal terms because Manchester United are advanced with Semenyo, and maybe there's something we don't know behind the scenes yet with that one potentially happening. But Romano coming out saying that Roma are negotiating personal terms. Something is definitely happening behind the scenes with these deals, and I think they're both linked. Because before we had the news of Semenyo, we ran a video here on FUTV saying that Joshua Zirkzee wants to stay and fight for his place at Manchester United. Bang. All of a sudden, Semenyo news started to creep in, and now we're hearing that Zirkzee is deep into personal negotiations on a contract with Roma. That tells me that something's going on behind the scenes and something's moving that we don't know about. And I think it is linking both of them transfers together. We need to bring Semenyo in. By the way, everybody, please pop a like on the video if you are enjoying the content and the constant Manchester United updates. I'm going to get into the comment section again now with all of your thoughts. Please do get in there, everybody. Only the kids are going to be subbed on at this rate with the amount of team or the amount of players that we've got, says Lawrence. Leacher is just a stopgap, mate. He's not a long-term CDM option. That's what Manny was saying as well. Ryan says Baleba has been crap. Semenyo isn't what we need. Midfield is trash and has been for ages. The results are awful. Board of Amarim and no investment in all of that there, Ryan. I'm sorry, mate. I don't want to bring you up on this one. You haven't given one solution. It's like Conservatives arguing with Labour in the House of Commons. All you're doing is complain about what we've not done, but what is your solution, mate? You're talking about Semenyo isn't what we need. Semenyo is what we need. We need lethal finishers and better quality than the likes of Zirkzee and even Sesko at the moment, because Sesko has to score one of them chances. His touch to go around Martinez was shocking, so bad. And I don't know, you could say that Martinez made a great save, in fact, though, for his first one, but I know if that's another top striker in the league that's going in, they're the chances that Sesko is going to be judged on and has to put away. He has to. And that's where we're at right now. The poor finishing for Man United. You can talk about it and say you can't use that as an excuse, if, buts and maybes and all of that. But yeah, if you put that in, an easy chance, I'm talking Cunha here as well, then Man United are winning that game. I'm fully convinced that we go on and win that game if that goes in. I think Sesko should do better on both of his chances. Cunha had a great effort that went just past the post. United were creating a lot more than what Villa were yesterday. But that's been the story of the season. We create an awful lot of chances. I'm not for XG and all of that. I don't need XG to see what I'm watching, to see what I see on the pitch. I can tell that United are creating chances. I can see it in the game. We're just not clinical enough. We don't score enough goals. And saying that, we're second leading goal scorers in the league. But we should be miles ahead. We should be with Manchester City in terms of chances that we have missed this season. We should be over 40 goals right now. And United, with that, are then in the Champions League. We're already competing in the Champions League places. And that's the difference. And that was obviously the discussion that was going on. I do like Benjamin Sesko still, and I want to give him the chance. But next season, if he's still doing the same thing, then he's going to be getting the same sort of treatment as Rasmus Højlund is. 2 years in, and if it's not showing, and you're not showing any improvements, then you're going to be one of them players that's labelled second season gone. Agate's in it now. We've already seen Rasmus Højlund and Andre Onana get it. It's just going to be the way it is for Man United right now. I don't want Sesko to fail, but he needs to start taking them chances. He needs to do better. There's a couple of chances that he missed in, I think there's one big one in the game where he got injured against Spurs, floundering and not being clinical enough. And then again against Villa yesterday, I thought he could have done better with them chances. Sounds like I'm being harsh and horrible because he's a young player and he's just come in, and I will give him time. I will give him this season at least, and then I need to start seeing progress into the second season with Sesko. Otherwise, you're going right down the Rasmus Højlund road. And again, maybe it was a younger player, too young and not the right fit. United needed, like we did with Mbeumo and Cunha, ready-made fits. And we should have spent a little bit more on someone who's a lot more clinical. I know it sounds negative. I know. I don't want to be that fan. I'll give him his time, and obviously, hopefully, he turns it around. But this is what United are missing right now, and this is costing us points. You've got to be able to put the ball in the back of the net. And I'm sorry, the defence. I mean, we do need to move on to that defence now and talk about that, because the defence is definitely an issue for Manchester United. And without Maguire, without De Ligt, Yoro and Heaven as a combination is just not good enough for Manchester United. That's 6 goals and quite a lot of defensive errors within them 6 goals conceded in the last 2 games with them 2 now. Look, not all their fault, but they do look weak, and that's a problem for us as well. I know we haven't had many other options, and we've had to play them players, but you still got to judge what you watch on the pitch, and how Morgan Rogers, and I said this yesterday, is allowed to barely keep the ball in play on that left-hand side, then have the opportunity to turn around unchallenged, with room to manoeuvre and put Lenny Yoro where he needs to put him. As a centre-back, I was always taught and trained and coached to never let the player turn. Don't let him turn. Don't let him turn. Yoro follows Morgan Rogers out there to the sideline and deals with him there. Don't let him turn. Don't let him turn. If you stop him there on the sideline, that allows all of your midfield to get back. The counter-attack is dead because everyone's there, and someone will be in behind you covering. I understand he's trying to watch the space, but you stop the danger where it is. Never mind what could come, stop the immediates. Aiden Heaven did it with Semenyo in the game against Bournemouth, and Lenny Yoro did it against Morgan Rogers in the game against Aston Villa. You cannot allow someone like Morgan Rogers and Semenyo that amount of space and time to decide where they're going to go and pick their spot. You have to give them something to think about. And 2 errors there, I think, have cost Manchester United at least 4 points in the last 2 games. And we've come away with 1. That there, I think, is where our defence is really suffering. The inexperience factor there, I feel, has cost Manchester United in the last 2 games. And again, young players, sounds like I'm having a go at Sesko, sounds like I'm having a go at Heaven and Yoro. But this is where they need to learn now. And again, second season syndrome will kick in. And Lenny Yoro's in it right now. We need Maguire and Leach back in the side. And we need to take the pressure off these 2 defenders, because as good as they are, I think they need someone of a De Ligt and a Maguire next to them to help them. They haven't got that leadership. Lamens isn't quite fully settled in yet, I don't think, in terms of being that dominant goalkeeper. That will come in time. We just haven't got that voice at the back, I don't think, at the moment. And the goals that we're conceding are sloppy, I think, and they're definitely avoidable. You can go on about how good a goals it was for Morgan Rogers, and they were worldy goals, but still, they were avoidable for United. Cal says, no, he's speaking to someone else. Sorry, I'll pick up on a few more comments. Stop supporting this useless manager. He has got rid of our attacking players and never replaced them. He continuously plays the players off their normal positions and still expects them to do well. Well, on that, Ricky, he hasn't got rid of our attacking players and not replaced them, because quite clearly we got rid of Garnacho, Rashford and Antony. Yeah, it's safe to say we can't count Sancho because he's not been playing anyway. So from last season, we got rid of them and we got rid of Rasmus Højlund. And Manchester United are second leading goal scorers in the league, because we brought in Sesko, Cunha and Mbumo. So straight away, that comment there is null and void, mate, I'm afraid, because we brought in 3 better players. You could argue Sesko at the moment, yes, but we have got better players and it's helping Manchester United do more. We got rid of the likes of Rashford, Garnacho and Antony because we still had Mason Mount there. And Ruben Amorim has been the one manager that's got more out of Mason Mount than any manager so far at Manchester United. So, and there's only one, and that was Ten Hag, but you get where I'm going with that. So, no. In terms of normal positions, you could argue that is a good point there. There are a few that have been played out of position and probably not been able to get the best out of them. But again, like Ahmad's numbers are decent. Goals, assists, Mason Mount's goals, assists, Cunha and Mbumo, and Cunha's coming through now as well. And Mbumo, decent. I don't think it's affecting the players that much. I really don't. I think Ahmad is comfortable on that right-hand side. I do. I think it's a poor excuse. Again, I think a lot of our game and a lot of our issues have been in-game. And against Bournemouth and Villa, I think Ruben's actual substitutes haven't been that bad. I thought he handled it well yesterday. So I can't really say that it's his fault that he's got rid of all the attacking players and not replaced them, because he has replaced them and we are actually scoring more goals. Our current centre-backs are 19 and 20. They're going to make mistakes. They will learn and become better, but we all miss the lit. No, he's just stating the obvious, Manny. That's what it is. They're going to learn, like you said, but it is costing United right now. It is costing Manchester United right now. We dominated the first half yesterday against Villa. Unfortunately, we needed a prolific striker yesterday, like a Haaland, Harry Kane, Van Nistelrooy, Ronaldo, or Thierry Henry. Yeah, them players are few and far between, and you hope that you can discover them players and get them players cheaper. But a lot of the time, if you're going to spend a lot of money, you need to spend a lot of money in that area of the pitch. We have done. Have we got the wrong player? Sesko needs more starts, and he needs to adapt a little bit more. How long do we give him is probably the biggest question before we start to get a little bit concerned that things are never going to change, because that's obviously got a chance of happening. And it is a worry. It is a worry. Out of all the goals that Lamens has conceded, he may have been able to do better with one or two of the goals, but the others he can't be blamed for at all. He does really well he's done really well since he's came in. I haven't got a problem with Lamens, and of all of the issues and problems that we're talking about at the moment, at least we're not talking about the goalkeeping problem at Manchester United. Comfortable with him, and I think it's been a massive help for Manchester United. I think we've lost 2 games with Lamens in goal. I think that's 2 in 11 since he's been at the football club. And that's, unfortunately, again, not through any fault of his. It's the team in front of him that have failed in terms of them goals and the games we've lost. I give Amarim an early Christmas present. The sack gets him out of my club. Hasn't got a clue. We did just boss Aston Villa, though, and didn't take our chances. So you can't really blame Ruben Amorim for the players not scoring them goals or doing better. So, again, I disagree with that one. But end of the season, if Ruben fails, Ruben will be sacked. I think that's what you've got to look at. But Ruben's going nowhere right now, I don't think. If you want him out or not, I just don't think the club are in any position to sack him. I don't think they want to. I don't. I'm not convinced. I'm going to say that now. I've seen lots of flaws in Ruben's management. I have. I just don't think that the club are going to sack him. I don't think it's on the agenda. I think we've been in miles worse positions than this, and they've come out and backed him. So while we're still only 3 points off the top 4, why would they even think about sacking Ruben Amorim? They've seen a lot more progression in performance, according to the stats and everything like that. Again, really don't give a shit. What I judge the game off is what I watch. And there has been improvement, and everyone could see there was improvement yesterday. And we should have done better. But when it comes to Ruben Amorim, I don't think he's anywhere near the sack right now. That's not me saying that he should stay. I think, obviously, his record at United is appalling when you look at it on paper. And United, again, this season, we're struggling to win games. We've only won 7 games in 17. Yes, we haven't lost as many, and that's good, but draws are just as bad as losses at the end of the day for me. You're not gathering enough points, and it doesn't move you anywhere. So the unbeaten factor doesn't really matter for me. I look at Liverpool having a shocking time right now, and they've won 9 games, and they're ahead of us. United don't win enough games. It's the win ratio that's big. That's the problem that Ruben's got to deal with. He needs to start winning games. Turning these performances into wins is what's going to save his job. And as long as United don't win, we're always going to be looking at Ruben Amarim on the brink. And that's where we're at right now. Get into the comment section after the live is finished, everybody. We're going to wrap things up there. Please pop a like on the video if you haven't already. That will take us over that 200 mark. Fantastic if we can get that. Thank you, everybody, so much for being part of the show again this morning. A great conversation, great debate in there. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Are you playing Leacher against Newcastle? Does he start ahead of Ugarte? That's what I'm asking. In the poll on the live chat, nearly 1,000 votes, 85% of you have said yes, Leach starts against Newcastle in midfield. Get into that conversation. Get in the comments, everybody. Pop a like on the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, everyone. Both of them are completely free to do and help the channel out massively. Get on this journey with us. It's going to be a very, very busy January now. So get yourselves strapped in. I'll have all the news as and when it drops. I think what's happened here has definitely opened up January for us. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be rumour central, and Manchester United are going to be right at the forefront of that. And that's us all done, everybody. Thank you so